This is Blue, sit. And this is Blue's roadmap to success. I'm going to basically summarize a lot of stuff that we have here. I'm going to show you, does he have a good drop command? Will he drop things if you ask him to drop?
Not really.
Okay, so when he gets that no hide, we'll see. I'll show you how to do it again if he picks it up. So basically, we started off talking about exercise, and when he has something in his mouth, I'm just going to hold the treat, and I'll kind of explain it right afterwards. There you go. Drop. That's how you teach drop. You couldn't see it very well because he's back to you. So when he has an object in his mouth, not holding it exclusively in his mouth, quietly pull out a treat, hold it in front of his nose. He'll try to take it with the object in his mouth. He'll realize he can't do that. When he puts it down, don't show any interest in it. Pop the treat in his mouth, say the word drop. Remember, treat first, command word after. And then don't show any interest. So what we want to do is he's like, well, you never want this thing, so I'm happy to drop it. But your underwear, you don't let me out. You chase me when I have your underwear. It's fun for me. So that becomes a game. So what we want to do is shape, we call it the behavior, with the easier version possible. So when he has one of his toys, quietly pull out a treat and just hold it in front of his nose. And then when he drops it, pop his mouth as they drop. And then go back to doing what you're doing. He gets the original item back. Eventually, you say drop it, he'll just spit whatever it is right out. And in the meantime, try to avoid physically taking things from him whenever possible, unless it's an emergency. All right, started off talking about exercise. He's not a super high energy dog, but exercising him by letting him sniff on the walks is really important. The laser, he was interested in chasing the laser. As long as he doesn't whimper or whine or start foaming at the mouth or something like that, I would stop doing it. Also, feeding him out of a snuffle mat and an omega treat ball are great ways to burn some excess energy. Also, before you're going to have there's somebody coming over he's reactive to, or you're going to take him on a walk with one of those neighborhood dogs we talked about off camera, make sure you exercise him first. But anytime you do that, make sure he gets at least 10 minutes to recover before he meets the dog or starts the next adventure. Otherwise, he's out of wind, and that's almost make it worse. So those are some forms of exercise that you can use. And try to incorporate that, like I said, before things that are going on that are going to be stressful for him or before things that he doesn't perform very well at. That would be a good opportunity to pet him and say, come. You just came to me. It's passive training. We'll talk about passive training now. Passive training is waiting for the dog to organically offer you the behavior that you want on its own. So every time he comes to you, like you just did, pet him and say the word come, like right here, come. I didn't ask him to come, but that's the end result of the command. And so I'm just rewarding him and marking it. After a while, come means come to the human and get hooked up with a reward. Sure, I'll do that. Tahiti, the name of the dog bed. So it's kind of similar principle. So for passive training, wait for every time he goes to the dog bed, call it Fahiti. Call your other dog bed in your bedroom a different name. So maybe that's Fiji or Bora Bora, wherever you want to call it. So this way you could direct him to go that dog bed or the other dog bed on command. Come. So don't disregard it, because we take these things for granted and then that confuses the dog and think, I need to be protective. So the more that you pet him for the things that you want, the more he will emulate those behaviors. Come. And it seems like you're doing a ton. After a while, you're watching TV, you just pet him and come and keep on reading. It won't really interrupt your flow. I thought you were going to SIT. Sit. Do it for sits. Do it for downs. Do it for when he drinks his water. Come up with a word to drink water, a word that needs to eat food. Name all of your individual toys. And so that way, name your dog bed or a dog kennel. And so the idea is we create these situations where we're putting everything in, and we're marking all these things so we can later on tell him what we want him to do. All right.
Sit.
That would be a come.
Oh.
That's all right. He didn't quite sit yet. Remember to use that hand motion? Let me show you real quick. So this is my way to lure the dog, and I go an arc over his head. When he sits down, I lower it. If I had a treat, I'd let him lick it off, and then I'd tickle him under his chin. Remember, when petting him, always try to pet him. You can pet him anywhere you want. Just never reach over his head to pet him. And if all things are equal, pet him under his chin to facilitate that nose up so he feels good about the things you want him to do. Remember, if he's nervous or scared, you can lay your hand on him, and that is associated with love and affection. But as soon as you start petting, you're going to amplify whatever state of mind he's in, including fear, stress, anxiety, aggression, reactivity, all those things. So if he's unbalanced, you want to comfort him, lay your hand on him. But as soon as lay your hand on him, and everything else you just pet when he does the things you want. But don't pet him when he's nervous, anxious, or fearful. Increase the distance or just lay your hands on him. Also, be careful about the words you say. Don't say good dog every time he does something. Just say sit or crash or Jamaica or Tahiti or whatever the command word is. No adjectives, no adverbs, and also be careful how you say it. Let's say sit, sit. Say it consistently the same every time. And try to say just the command word, not good, sit, and all the rest of that fun stuff. Come. Yes. You got a good, it looks like you got a good no hide there, huh? So I'm just going to wait and he'll SIT when if he doesn't, then that's fine. On the other flip side of that is what we call petting with a purpose. So if he comes and nudges you, he's telling you what to do. If you pet him, you're validating you are the boss of me. I think the reason he's reactive, at least partially, and partially the reason why he's has separation come, is because he thinks he's in charge of his human, but his human doesn't listen to him. That creates frustration. Frustration leads to stress. Anxiety, that leads to stress. All aggression comes from stress. So the more that we kind of show him that we are the leader through our actions, the more comfortable and confident he's going to be. So right there, that can be another one. Even if it's just walking by, as he walks by you, come. And you can pet him again, scratch him anywhere, just not on top of his head. So petting with a purpose is, let's say he was nudging me or I wanted to pet him, I tell him to sit. Sit. If I tell him to sit, he has 3 seconds to sit. If he does what I want within 3 seconds, he gets a reward. A pet or a treat or both or whatever.
Come.
Perfect. If he doesn't within 3 seconds, disengage and go back to something else. Wait 1 minute. Well, not necessarily 1 minute. Sorry, that's a different rule. Just wait, disengage, and then next time he does whatever you want him to do, you want to pet him or he nudges you, give him that counter command. So he has to sit or to lay down. Don't practice shake. And if he doesn't sit or lay down within 3 seconds, show me I got other things to go do. If he does, pet him under his chin and say the command word. After a while, he'll figure this out, and he's like, man, if I don't do what she wants, she doesn't pet me. So after a while, what he'll do is he'll start coming and sitting in front of you to prepay for attention. In the dog world, we call this manding or learning to mand, which means the dog can influence your behavior by how it interacts. So if a dog comes and jumps up on me, I freeze and don't engage with it. I become boring. Well, the dog's like, well, this is the opposite way. I wanted you to play with me. But as soon as it gets down, I would tell it to do something else and then pet him for it. If you pet a dog when it gets down, it just jumps back up to get that reward. So if a dog comes up and jumps on me, I freeze. Or in a different situation, dog comes up and sits in front of me, I reach over and pet it. Well, if my goal is to get an interaction from the human, I'm going to do what gets the interaction, and the sit is what it is, not the jump. Remember, jumping up is a way of claiming us. So if you want to pet him or he nudges or demands attention, tell him, give him a counter order first. If he does it within 3 seconds, you pet him on his chin, say the command word only, and then say pet him as much or as little as you want. If he doesn't, then you don't pet him. One other thing is he's a belly giver. And for some dogs, if you're petting me, I'm like, oh man, this feels really good. You know what? Why don't you just go ahead and get the whole undercarriage? Then I would continue petting him. But for him, as soon as I start petting him, he just immediately pop up like that, and that's too submissive, and that's related to reactivity and insecurity. So as soon as he does that, stop petting him, unless it's that very progressive thing that I talked about first. So you start petting him, as soon as he does that, stop. Don't tell him no, don't chastise him, just stop the interaction immediately. It's got to be right away. After enough repetitions, he's like, this causes her to stop petting me, so I'll stop doing that. And so that can be a nice way to help build up a little confidence in him. And it'll be like, and don't get mad when you're doing that, start and stop. That's how they learn. And come. Such a smarty pants. Sit. Look at all this good attention you're getting. It's like, yeah, I deserve it all. I'm awesome. He is a pretty awesome dog. Kisses. When he licks you, if you like that, call it kisses. Passive training for that as well. All right, we also talked about some rules. One of the rules is not being allowed in the furniture because for dogs, the higher the rank or status they have. So sitting at the same height as us says we're peers. Right there, he's asking to come up on the couch. So the guardian's petting him for a sit. She did not invite him up on the couch. And so she can reward him without giving, just because I reward someone with one thing doesn't mean they get everything they want. If I'm getting a good server, I might give them $1 tip or $10 tip or whatever it is. I don't just empty my wallet because I have more money, they get more tip. So for the dog, it's the same sort of principle. So if we don't have a lot of rules, the dog sees us as a peer, and that confuses them and creates all these problems. So one of the first rules we talked about is not being allowed in the furniture. This will prevent him from jumping up on top of you as well. And these rules should be in place for at least 90 days or as long as the problem's still going on. And after that, if you want to invite him on the furniture, it should be a one-time exception every time you invite him up because it's your couch. And it's only for when I want to, not to reward him for doing something you want. If you want to reward him, do what you're doing now. Pet him, talk to him, give him a treat, play with him, teach him something, get him for a walk. There's a lot of ways to reward a dog. Breaking a rule is a horrendous way to reward a dog because it confuses them. So after a while, it'll take about 2.5, 3 months, and he'll get out of a habit of trying to get on the couch. Now you can use those X mats that I talked about. Those I highly recommend because it just makes it a lot easier, especially because during the day you're gone. Nobody's gonna be able to defend to the couch and to keep him off. The X-mounts will do that for you. Let me see. Whenever we do the dog, take away the furniture, I always go through the dog bed. So remember, for the dog bed, for the next couple of days, you'll probably see this right up to the day after our session. Just basically pull out 10 treats, throw them there. You only have to do this 2 or 3 times. And then after that, just 2 or 3 different practice regimens. And then after a while, then you just have a treat with you, and every time he goes to the dog bed, then you throw the treat. So it rains treats when I go to the dog bed. For this one, you might want to go get like a light colored sheet and just wrap it up, so that way he can see the dog bed, it doesn't get buried in the crevice. So toss the treat, leave a treat, or lure him onto it, put the treat. These are 3 ways to entice him to go there, but when he goes there on his own, you only have to do that for a couple days. After he starts going on his own, then pull out a treat and throw it there. And then every time it goes to his mouth, say Tahiti, and come up with a different word for your other dog bed in the bedroom. So that one, don't do that just when you're going to sleep. I wouldn't start letting him out of the kennel at night until you can just go lay in your bed and he automatically goes to the dog bed in your bedroom. So come up with a different name for that. Lay in your bed and just have a little bowl of treats. And just, when he kind of jumps up, don't do it when he jumps up on the bed, but every once in a while, just throw a treat on the dog bed and then just say whatever the word is. And you're going to get to the point where you can just lay in your bed and do a little bit of reading, and he just automatically goes there. And ideally, he just starts sitting or sleeping there while you're in your bed during the day. And then after you've done that enough, then you could try it at night. I would put him in his kennel, and I would just close the door but wouldn't latch it. He might not even try to come out for a while. Eventually he will. And if he does try to get up on the bed, since you're a light sleeper, then immediately he gets ejected from the bed, and it got to be right away. Remember, you have 3 seconds to correct a reward for him to make that connection. So don't think I'm going to be nice and let him do it this one time. Remember, not saying no is the same thing as saying yes to him. So after a while, he'll be comfortable, and that it'd be nice to have him free during the day or during the evening and not come in bugging you, but you have to help him practice that. Other rules that we went over: not being allowed come. The human's going to eat something before she feeds him. All you have to do is eat something of 5 more bites, then he gets permission to eat. I recommend feeding him out of that snuffle ball and the omega treat ball like we talked about. And then put those up when he's done eating. If he's destroying them, so he called that something. So he wants to play a game. So when he does that, come up with a name, call it tug of war. So I'm pretty sure that's what he wants to do. And part of it is he wants me to want what he's got. So you can come up with a word and call this, challenge. And every time, so then if you got some energy, you say challenge, he goes and grabs this toy, and then you play this little game back and forth. And so it's just a nice way to engage with your dog, but on your terms, not on his terms. Other rules: you have to sit at the door before I let you in or out. Remember, go to the door, tell him to sit once. If he doesn't sit within 3 seconds of the first time you say it, then you sit and make sure you're seated when you walk away each time. Sit down for 1 minute, then go back to the door. Tell him to sit again. If he doesn't sit within 3 seconds, I walk away and sit down for 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, so on. And as soon as he sits, fly that door open. But if he doesn't sit, I only say it once. Remember, the more you say it, the less you mean it. And eventually he'll go sit at the door as his way of saying, "I'd like to go outside, please." When he does that, try to recognize and take him out whenever you can. Otherwise, he's going to learn to do other things. Make sure, shouldn't be allowed within 7 feet of the human when she's eating. Shouldn't be allowed in the kitchen, in between the work island and the kitchen counter when she's preparing food. The rest of the time, you can come and go. I would put the Roman blinds on all of the windows, and I would just look where he's at. So put about 3 inches taller than his head is where the top of it should be. So put in that window, that window. These windows, I'm guessing, are usually closed during the day when you're at work. So that way he won't be able to see out. And that's why. Because every time this happens, he thinks his barking is what made the other dog move away. So if you take away, put the white paper there, he doesn't get the validation. But if I say no, or I call him like that every time he barks, then he's going to continue doing that. And so I can lure him over here with a treat. Sit. Down. Down. So I want to redirect him into 2 or 3 different things before I start rewarding him. Otherwise, he just comes to you and it bounces back there. Sit. Sit. Down. Down. He's forgotten about that. So a lot of it is redirecting him instead of chastising him. But again, so what I would do is put it about 3 inches taller than his head for all these windows. And after 3 months, go to it and take an X-Acto knife and just cut like 1 inch off of all the windows. And so gradually it's going to come down and down and down. And he won't notice because it's so progressive. And he's out of a habit after 3 months of doing this. Then he's less likely to do it. And then you don't have to worry about getting in trouble with your neighbors or having him barking. And he's practicing barking at those dogs. Those are probably the same dogs he barks out when you're on walks. So that also takes away that practice from that. Yes, I missed that sit, didn't I? Let me see. Use those escalating consequences to disagree. If you forget what those are, message me. You take good notes. I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay. But if you have any questions or things stop working, and it's very normal for things to get worse temporarily before they get better. So if things stop working, just stay the course. Please text me or call me anytime you have any questions or problems. Texting me is actually the best way to reach me because I get to my telemarketing calls these days and emails. That's the slowest way to reach me. Right there.
Come.
Perfect.
Sit.
Make up a list of the official command words and try to consistently use those. Put those Post-it notes around your house. I've seen people put them on top of the TV for certain things just to help you remember because you're single. And also try to make sure you come up with fun new command words. All the new commands that you learn, the new dog bed, try to make it a name that's going to make you or your friends laugh when they hear it. That motivates the dog to want to do that. So all the new commands that you've already got a bunch established, I would try to come up with the new command words that are funny so that you can have a little bit of that humor and that lighthearted energy, which will help eliminate a lot of common puppy problems and dog problems. And we use this to lure him. Sit. Can I pick you up? You okay with that, Blue? Oh, you're a big boy. Well, this is my buddy Blue, always giving me kisses. And this is Blue's roadmap to success. Thank you, buddy. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you beat it.